upgrade!
So I used to think that my fully decked out Silent Spectre was a really great weapon, and well, I guess it is a good weapon, but almost 200,000 damage per second. How's it going, guys? My name is Checker, and welcome to today's video, and hopefully this is actually going to make it into the video. I've been trying to record this video for the past probably 4 hours now, and for some odd reason, my microphone decided not to work, so when I went and recorded for an hour gathering footage, just like doing, video stuff, my audio, for some odd reason, I narrowed it down to my recording software, was for some reason sounding like this. So yeah, a bit staticky for no reason whatsoever, so I obviously cannot have that quality in a video. So my initial plans to walk through leveling up this weapon, talking about the perks that I chose and why I chose them and stuff like that, I will have to redo as best as I possibly can. I obviously can't go from level 1 to level 50 here, but what I can do is just tell you guys what I did. But then also, before we go and get into this video, guys, I will be gone for the next couple of days, just, for the 4th of July, so I will have some pre-made videos for that. The reason I am letting you know that they will be pre-made videos is that there will be no hidden llama in those videos. So just keep that in mind. In the next couple of days, the videos that I post might not have a hidden llama in them. I will let you guys know once there is another hidden llama. But anyway, guys, almost 200,000 damage on my weapon here. And if you paid any attention to the thumbnail, which, I mean, you probably did, you can probably tell that this is the Tigerjaw shotgun. So why did I pick the Tigerjaw shotgun? Well, the Tigerjaw has the highest DPS in the game. As far as the base weapons, not including event weapons, as far as the base weapons in Fortnite goes, the Tigerjaw has the highest DPS. DPS, of course, is damage per second, so this thing can dish out the most damage per second, and damage per second is one of those things in the game that is so critically important, especially endgame, which is kind of why sniper rifles never really get used endgame. A lot of people don't like using sniper rifles, especially when you're doing like the actual mission, when you're trying to defend the shelter or defend the Atlas. Sniper rifles really aren't that useful, and the reason is that their DPS is so low. They don't really necessarily have a very high damage over time or damage per second potential, where on the other hand, the Tigerjaw, having the highest DPS, has the most damage potential. So I chose the Tigerjaw, and I'm thinking of actually maybe doing a mini series of this just for every weapon type. Do a video on the highest damage per second assault rifle, sniper rifle, pistol. So if you guys would like to see that, please let me know down below. But I chose the Tigerjaw because obviously it has the highest DPS, as I previously stated. Also keep in mind that the DPS on my Tigerjaw, the DPS on any of my weapons, is heavily influenced by my power level, which of course is power level 100 as of right now. I'm trying to stay at 100 just because that kind of evens me out with the missions. So your mileage may vary, but the Tigerjaw will always have the highest base DPS. Now perks really also help influence that too. So this set of perks that I have chosen right here, and I did the math just kind of really briefly covering what perk would be best for overall DPS, but this set of perks for this weapon is the best combination for DPS. Keep that in mind. While these perks will work really, really well for other weapons, they might not yield the best DPS. But in the Tigerjaw's case, this does, for me, yield the best DPS. And as you guys can see, as we start to level this thing up, the DPS just starts to go absolutely through the roof. I was always that guy to use the Room Sweeper over the Tigerjaw just because I liked the Room Sweeper better. It was kind of a cooler weapon. It shoots incredibly fast. But the problem with the Room Sweeper is that it just doesn't do very much damage. And that's where the Tigerjaw steps in. It has a slower fire rate, but does magnitudes more damage. And as a result, has the highest DPS out of any sniper rifles, shotguns, assault rifles, or pistols in the game. Yes, the Siegebreaker has a lower DPS, the Monsoon has a lower DPS, and as previously stated, the Room Sweeper also has a lower DPS, but not by much. So then, we have our perks chosen, we are ready to go and test this weapon out. Once again, I apologize for not having the original audio here. I was planning to give you guys some actual true gameplay, and there were some really funny moments in that gameplay, but unfortunately the audio quality is just not acceptable, so I cannot post that. But anyway, I can still kind of cover everything and talk over this gameplay here. I chose my Raider Nomad for this, and I chose him because he will specialize in shotguns, and I think he adds like an extra 30,000 DPS, which is pretty dang good. And we ended up with just an insane amount of DPS, so I mean, as you guys can see, this thing just rips through enemies. I do have fire damage, and I've recorded this video so many times I can't remember if I mentioned that I would have a higher DPS if I had chosen physical damage. However, I do not like physical damage, especially in higher levels where there are a ton of elemental enemies, so I decided to stick with fire. I might change it to water, I don't really know yet, but nonetheless, this is still a really high, insane DPS, 180 some thousand, whatever it was. I could probably, if I really wanted to finish leveling up those perks, if I really wanted to level up my character, my power level to like max level 125, I could probably, and this is just a total guess, but I could probably get up to like 250,000 DPS would be my guess, but I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. Maybe it could just be like 200,000. It could be 300,000. I have no idea. But I was pleasantly surprised by the Tigerjaw. I would normally, when choosing perks, to choose all damage perks. However, having that fire rate perk on that first perk is just amazing. It actually kind of makes it seem and feel like a room sweeper. It's not quite that fast, but let's be honest, the room sweeper was sometimes, a lot of the time, actually way too fast. And the Tigerjaw is just an amazing balance between speed, between damage. I mean, the only complaint I have is the reload speed. That is the only complaint about this weapon, but it is quickly becoming one of my favorite weapons to use. Number one, it's insanely powerful. Number two, it's very controllable. Number three, it doesn't burn through that much ammo. And number four, well, just look at this thing. It burns through enemies. I can almost kill a smasher, a power level 100 smasher with one clip. Almost, not quite, maybe eventually if I finish leveling this thing up and maybe if I level up some more myself. But that is just mind-boggling to me. Like, that is amazing. I'm so happy with this weapon. And it's really kind of surprising when you think of weapons that have the highest DPS. You know, DPS is not everything when it comes to weapons. The Monsoon has the highest DPS out of all the pistols. If you've ever used the Monsoon, you can probably understand why it's like one of the least used pistols as well. Sure, it has a lot of DPS, but it ultimately isn't a great pistol. The accuracy is terrible, the damage per shot is terrible. It pretty much only has the highest DPS because it throws the most rounds out there the quickest. DPS, in my mind, is not a direct indication of how good a weapon is, it just shows its maximum potential. A perfect example of this is a sniper rifle in Fortnite. Sniper rifles have really a pretty poor DPS when compared to other weapons. Now, that's not saying they aren't good, but while they are much more powerful, especially per shot, their DPS is much lower because they are much slower of a weapon. And since that DPS is lower, its potential for potential use is also lower. I don't know if that really worked there. But you get what I'm saying here? The lower the DPS, the lower of a chance that it has of being a useful weapon. But what do I mean by useful? An obliterator is a great sniper rifle, for example, for taking out, let's say, a blaster. And it's a great sniper rifle for taking out a blaster or whatever else you want to shoot. But the problem with it is that it's too slow. When you're defending an Atlas, when you're defending a van, when you're delivering a bomb, that weapon, although it does a ton of damage, cannot keep up, and that is why DPS is such an important indicator of the potential of that weapon. So I hope I did a decent enough job of explaining why DPS is extremely important. It's not always the best indication of how a weapon will perform, but it certainly, like I said before, is just an indication of the potential of that weapon. But anyway, guys, what do you think of the Tigerjaw? Should I finish leveling this thing up? Should I get it past 200,000 DPS? What do you guys think of me doing a little mini-series of every weapon with the highest DPS per subclass? For example, I would do a video on the highest DPS assault rifle, the highest DPS pistol, the highest DPS sniper rifle. Would you guys want to see a video of those? Let me know down below, and by the way, you might actually be surprised by some of them. Well, maybe not though. The highest DPS AR when I looked it up was the Siegebreaker, the highest DPS pistol when I looked it up was the Monsoon, and the highest DPS sniper rifle, which actually did surprise me, is the Triple Tap. So, I don't know, let me know. But thanks guys for watching today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time.